Hi, my name is Liz, and I'm looking at how ethnic diversity affects access to health services in Somerset. And this is part of Somerset Diverse Communities, which in turn is part of the Community Council for Somerset. I'm particularly interested in equalities that have consequences for diverse communities in the areas of mental health, sexual health, domestic violence, and access to health services, including vaccinations, not only COVID, but also routine and childhood vaccinations. And today I'm very pleased to welcome Vivian, who's chair of Bridgwater Together, to discuss how this can affect the diverse communities living in Somerset. Hello, Vivian. It's good to meet you. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, well, my name is Viviana in reality, like in Spanish. I was born in Chile. But everybody called me Oviv or Vivian in here because it's easier for the British to pronounce Vivian rather than Viviana. Sometimes a little bit difficult. So I'm from Chile. I study film acting. And then I met who is my husband in Bolivia, actually. But then we moved to Argentina and I studied filmmaking, and then we moved to Spain, and then we moved to here, to Somerset. Like in a nutshell, that's where I come from, what I've been doing, normally mainly arts stuff. And now I'm living in Somerset.
How do you like Somerset?
Yes, I do actually, because when I was born, it's the same climate that Somerset is. Same, it's all green, lots of water, same climate. So yes, yeah.
It's comfortable. Have you been affected at all by access to health services while you've been here? How have you found it?
Well, I'm not a person who goes to our practices too often anyway. And the times I have been there, it's been a very good experience. Actually, like, I think it was this year, I have a lump on my left breast, which is normal for me in every time that I have my period. But this one, it was like lasting for the whole month. So I went there and they immediately sent me a doctor request, and then I went to Musgrove to do all the exams, and everything was very like fast and smooth. I didn't have any problem actually.
That's very good.
Yes.
Well, I was going to ask you about main issues, but you don't really have any as such. But from your community, from a sort of South American perspective, how do people generally feel about mental health services? Would they use them, or is there a stigma attached to having a mental health issue?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question, but I don't know too many Latin Americans in here.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking in Chile and
yes, that, like, I believe when I came to England, to the UK, and I realized how important is mental health issues, how important is trying to solve those issues, help people. And in Chile it's completely different. Like, a mental health issue is a problem, it's a really bad problem, it's not, people doesn't look good if you're having a mental health issue. So everybody like hide their problems. So if you have depression, you can go to a psychologist or things like that, but it's not well seen for people.
So they wouldn't access a sort of health and well-being type.
No, we don't have that kind of things. And in here it's amazing, because in here there is people who wants to help others, and I know lots of people that say, yeah, I have some depression, I have this, like, people admitted that they have a problem. In Chile everything is hide behind.
Yeah, It used to be like that here once upon a time.
Yeah, yes, also, but it's also Latin America, and we're a little bit behind in some things, but we're still trying to. Now I think those issues are more like we're facing those issues now, which in here maybe was doing like 20 years ago. I don't know.
Well, yeah, sometimes. And again, with access to sexual health services around contraception and pregnancy and HIV, AIDS, that sexually transmitted diseases, is there a stigma attached to those sort of services in Chile, or is it?
I don't know, because I haven't been there like 10 years. In 10 years. So I go to visit and then I come back. I don't know how it's Chile now, really. But 10 years ago, it was like still to have a is VIH, or no, or BHI, the virus.
HIV.
HIV.
Yeah.
The other way around, sorry.
Yes. No, you're right.
Yes. So it's not something that people go and it's very open to do it. It's something that is very good to do. If you haven't used contraception, like condoms or anything, it's better if you go and do the test. But in Chile, it's like a taboo thing, or it was a taboo thing. I think now we have more conscious, but I was surprised in here that there is not many campaigns. I haven't seen. I don't have TV, so maybe in TV there is campaign, but in normal life I don't see any campaigns against or go and do the test or.
Not so much, and it's interesting because the prevalence of people getting it is much older than it used to be as well, which is interesting too. But yes. Well, did you know there is a website, Swish Services, which is Sexual Health Services for Somerset, and there you can get a lot of information, and it also has a translation attachment, so you can see it in Spanish or I think there's probably about 40 languages that it works in, which is quite interesting. Yeah. So I mean, there are services there, but that one's particularly good around translation, I think. We're just thinking about access to other things. Would people normally be happy to have vaccinations? You know, the normal childhood ones and routine vaccinations?
Yeah. Yes.
Would you have to pay for all of those in Chile, or?
For the children ones, for the normal ones, no. I think you need, if you go abroad, like I think when I went to Peru, I had to get the hepatitis A. I think you need to pay for that. Because
that's a travel thing.
Yes.
Yes, that's a choice. Yeah. And that's good though, that it's free for the childhood ones particularly. And you take the same sort of ones as we have, the MMR, measles, mumps, and rubella.
I think I don't know the translation of those, but I assume we have. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. Well, they do in Colombia, as I've checked. So yes.
Okay, so we might.
Yeah. I guess so. Yeah. I was going to ask also if you had any ideas that would make access easier for people when they first arrive here. Are you aware of any issues around people accessing GP surgeries or maybe the dentist or vaccinations or anything like that?
I don't know. I hear that now they have people who translate, like a third person who translate. If someone doesn't speak English at the beginning, someone translate to the GP or the nurse. But
that's really
good.
Yes. So and that a lot of things like contraception is free here, which it's not in many countries, so it's good to know things like that.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And also, do you have any things that you would like to see done better or change in the future for health services, really?
Mm. For me, for example, it's very weird that in the UK, well, I don't know if Scotland is the same like in England, but you have, for example, the cervical screen is every 5 years.
Oh, smear test, yes.
And I think that's wrong. That's very wrong. In Chile, it's not a rich country, but I don't know why. But we have every year. Every woman has a screen test every year. Because it's more like prevent,
yes,
rather than cure. But here it's after 5 years, and for me it's very weird. Why is that? I don't know. It should be every year, because I think it's easier. It's like the same with the. I know that might be expensive, but it's not better to prevent it, or why do you do that?
I have no idea. We'll have to ask.
Yeah, because it's something that it happens like quite often in women to have or cervical cancer or breast cancer. That's the only thing that always for me has been like a big question, a big issue. Like every 5 years, or could be every 2.
Yeah.
Like it's a big gap in between.
Okay, we'll ask.
Thank you very much.
And lastly of all, do you have any message for the diverse communities living in Somerset?
Living in Somerset. Oh.
You don't have to.
Okay, cool. Yeah, but I don't know, because I assume, well, Michal contact you, and I'm the chair of Bridgwater Together, which is an organization, a bunch of people who wants to make at least Bridgwater, but I think we open it for all Somerset to make it more, I forgot the word now.
Cohesive, maybe?
Sorry?
Inclusive?
Inclusive, yes, that's the word. Yes, that's my very bad message, but please contact us, Bridgwater Together, or the diverse community can direct you to Bridgwater Together. And I think we need that kind of word right now. We need all together, and that's it. No matter who.
Thank you. The final reports from this project will be used to influence the NHS commissioners when they are considering future services in the county, and we hope will address health inequalities to make sure that services reflect the needs of all people living and working in Somerset. Thank you for listening to this podcast. If you have found it useful, and have a look at the other podcasts available, or if you would like to take part in the research, contact me on lizj@somersetrcc.org.uk.